And good evening, everybody. Welcome back into the Dragon's Den. My name is Digital Dragon, and I'm a 3D printing variety streamer here on Twitch. Hope everybody's doing well this evening. Hey, Dad's Garage, welcome on in. Front Father, Mr. Wizix. How's everybody doing today? Thank you for joining me. I know I'm a little bit earlier than normal. That is just because I have a training class, a veteran training class for small businesses this evening. So I will be cutting the stream off a little bit earlier. So that's why I jumped on a little bit earlier. So we had about an hour, hour and a half before I have a hard stop. Hey, Aussie, welcome on in. And I'm just running a bit behind, feeling a little bit like, because, well, yeah, having to go into the office and be at the office a lot some today. So I'm just going to move a couple of things around here real fast to try and prepare us some for the stream because we will be pushing plastic today. That is the goal. Okay, so I've got a uh, oh, hey, Eagle the Dragon, how's it going? The day at the office was good. Day at the office was good. Little bit busy with a bunch of meetings and stuff. Tomorrow's going to be a little bit better. In fact, I don't think I'm going to go into the office until I just head in for my we have another work event. This is more of a our small team event versus the like larger thing that the VPs did. So, yeah. So, we've got our printer done. We've got the mechanical movements ironed out. Um, I do have some tape down on here that I was using. Basically, what you're trying to do is raise the front and back of your printer up just ever so slightly so that it can rock side to side. Like I said, not a lot, just one layer so you get a little bit of a rock more side to side. And that means that the weight's off the ends here and is fully supported at both ends here. And that helps your input shaper graphs out a little bit. I'm still not 100% happy. I think they can get better. However, I want to push plastic, right? And I think that everybody wants to see this thing push plastic. We're not going to like go stupid crazy fast speeds just yet. We're just going to push some plastic today and, you know, basically check it out, start breaking it in, and then I'll continue to print some stuff until we do the next stream on Saturday, where we plan on printing pretty much the whole day. Because that's where we're at now is printing, and it basically says, hey, do your pressure advance, do your flow test, do your retractions, yada yada yada. So we're going to run through some of those um, with the OrcaSlicer. There is a basic set profile for OrcaSlicer. We get that by coming into the LH Stinger. There is a OrcaSlicer config here. It's not inbuilt directly in. Sorry, let me switch screens here. LH Stinger is not built directly into OrcaSlicer yet, but there is a profile for. So what you basically do is download and unzip this folder here using the link, and then you need to install the information. And basically, it's download it, copy the profile folders into specific Windows folders, and then you'll select the LH Stinger. And I kept trying to like, let me go through the wizard and grab it. No need to do that. You just come up here and grab the profile. So you'll have LH Stinger 04 an LH Stinger 04 with a Pico MMU. Apparently you can build I think it's a 3-lane MMU that goes with this. Just found that out digging around. But we'll have this profile. You'll also have a series of LHS presets for filaments. So you'll have ASA, polycarbonate carbon fiber, PETG, PLA, TPU, and the foamy TPU, which is kind of like your, what is it they call, Very Shore. And then, I do. And then you'll also have some basic print settings, 0.14, 0.14, 20, 20, 20, 20 of different types. So you'll have your daily run-of-the-mill speeds, PETG, quiet, solid, speed, strength, and then TPU. So there's a lot of good base profiles there to just get us started with. And speaking of started, there's a couple of things that we need to do. Number one is going to be to pick a filament, and I want to pick a lighter filament that I have readily available. So let me take a look and see what we may have open already that is a light color that we'll be able to see a little bit easier on the carbon fiber build plate, because we are going to be printing directly on the carbon fiber build plate. Oh, some just plain blue. It's going to be a polysonic blue. And our printer does have a full up dedicated macro for print load, or filament load, filament unload. So it does raise the temperature if it needs to be, and then starts the load process. Oh yeah, Bob, there's not going to be any fire over on this stream. We've already had this turned on and doing its little thing. So there we go. Like I said, right now, it's just going to go through and heat up the hot end to 220. I'm just going to apply a little bit of pressure to help it into the gears at the very top of our thing once we get there. And then we're going to start off just doing a 120 by 120 by 0.4 millimeter cube. And the goal there is just to dial in the first layer. All we're trying to do is dial in the first layer there. Oh, that was sweet. It was like, hey, we're going to start the load process. No, you're not, because you didn't take the filament in. Ay, ay, ay. Why did we not take filament in? Let's try that again. Load. Not sure if you guys are seeing this, but we do have filament now popping out onto the print bed. So we're pretty good there. Let's switch the view back to where we're primary big on this. So it pooped a bunch of filament, right? So we're good there. We did get transitioned over to the blue. We drizzled a bit. And probably one of the things that I should have done before I even started that, let me I'm going to retract 1 millimeter so it stops oozing on me, or at least as much. We're up at 220. We're going to try and go up to 285. Hopefully we don't take an error because I didn't even look to see what the max temperature here is. Should be set to something like 300. Because we've tightened it and torqued it cold, but we haven't done it hot yet. So we're going to raise this up to 285. I think we're done with our oozing. And we're going to hot tighten this. Okay, once again, this is a 1.4 Newton meter torque wrench. We'll let that start cooling back down so we don't continue to cook our filament in there. And in fact, I'm probably going to tell it to extrude some just to try and clear out any of that filament. That was way overheated. And then the other thing we need to do, which will be easier done with all the temperature down on this, put our hot sock on. So how's everybody doing today? Really hope everyone else had a good day today. And we have our hot end, rather than being this way, we clocked it this way. That's the only way it goes in, and we can route our thermistor and heater wires well. So I just need to go ahead and get this pushed up there and on. may be a little difficult. I'm catching on. I highly, highly suggest you do this with it cold. Okay, looks like we're on. So I'm going to assume, might be a bad assumption, that the print start command, in fact, let's just take a look at the macros. My macros, print start, bed temp, blah, 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 blah. So Z tilt adjust. Bed mesh, bed mesh, bed mesh. Okay, so it should go through and do like a homing, bed meshing, and all that. That's kind of what I was looking for. So once again, we're going to start with just a 120 by 120 millimeter square, 2 layers thick, and that's going to let us dial in our first layer. We've already done our initial, paper test. Now we just want to dial it in the rest of the way. So we're going to reprint this, and I am printing directly onto the carbon fiber. Should be perfectly good doing that. And if we have any issues and I need to, then I will put down Captain tape and we'll print to the Captain tape. We should be good going directly to the carbon fiber bed here. And as with anything, it's going to start heating up the bed. By the way, Eagle, I know you have a party tonight, so hopefully you can go and hang out at your party and just relax and enjoy it. Thank you. Thank you much. Yeah, don't do that because then you take all of them on your butt bone and it doesn't feel good. I know from trial and error there. I'm gonna kind of have a seat right here. Hey, Pez Liz, how's it going? Hey, Poity, what's up? So we're gonna do the first print, and in this case, we're just doing a 120 by 120 millimeter square, 2 layers, and that's gonna let us play around and get our first layer offset really well. We have our basic bed mesh done. We have our Z offset done. So we're just going to be trying to dial in our first layer offset. We did hot tighten the nozzle, and we did just put the silicone sock on. So and so right now we're heating the hot end temperature up. It's going up to 230 C. Interesting for a PLA profile. I wonder if it's planning on going super duper fast. And this is going to be the first time I'm printing directly on carbon fiber, so this might get interesting. Too low. Too low, and we are skipping. When your person's going to pick you up around 5 p.m. your time. Okay, cool, Eagle. Wait, we need a planning website for all these streams. I never remember everyone. Yeah, well, normally, Poity, I stream at 6 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. This Thursday, I'm streaming early at 5 because I've got a class at 7 for, it's a Warrior Rising. It is for it is the Service Disabled Veteran Entrepreneurial Training Program. This kind of gives me, they say it's like a survey, so it's an overview of their academy classes that they have. And let me pull this over here. There we go. Hi. It's an overview of the classes that they have that I'll be able to go through and take. I think we're a little bit too high now. So let's drop it back down just a shade. But what I'm doing now is I try and do a decent big square so that I can dial in that first layer. And I'm seeing some ripples there. And I think it's because we're a bit too high now. Because I saw that we were way too low and I was quickly trying to raise it up. Might still be a little. I think we're good. In fact, I think we might still be. I think we might actually still be low. And of course, it's kind of hard to work on the adjustment sum and talk on stream. But yes, that is what I'm working on and why I had to start stream a little bit early today. And then on Wednesday next week is the next class date, and then it's another Thursday. So next week we shouldn't have any stream issues or conflicts. And then the fourth week of the class we'll have a conflict. So 2 Thursdays from now we'll have to go a little bit early. Okay, so we're looking good. We got rid of the ripples. Thought we did. It looks like we might be getting some more back in the middle there. And I try and do 2 layers because if you only do 1 layer, um, it may be hard to, whoops, sorry. If you only do 1 layer, it may be hard to get it off the bed. That's why I do 2 layers, right? It makes it a little bit thicker, a little bit easier to get off the bed. But yeah, like I said, I hope everybody's day is going good. This has been a weird week. We had senior VPs in this week as well. So we had a shindig yesterday. We had um, another thing today, and then tomorrow we're doing our team holiday outing. So I have to basically go into work for that as well. Okay, I got rid of some of the rippling, but then it looks like I got it. Not that I got it back, but I may have overcorrected. And we'll see how it goes. I'm going to let it start doing the second layer just a little bit to make it easier to peel up at that one corner. And then I'll cancel it because I want to see with just the 1 layer what kind of adhesion I have side to side on the layers, because that way you can tell, am I too squished and raising up and everything's really, really fused well together, or did I raise it up too much and now it easily comes apart. Oh, and hey, it gets speedy too. Okay, so I went ahead and canceled it. This is going to give me the 2 layers over here to make it easier to peel up. And I want to bring this in here and show this to y'all. So you can see here where we're getting ripples. You're going to get ripples if for one of 2 reasons. You're too close or you're too far. So what you're going to start looking at here is the edges. We haven't done pressure advance yet, but look at your edges. It's going to be easier to see. Are they raised up? And these are raised up. So these may still have been too close at this stage. So over here, you'll see that those ripples kind of went away right in here, which is where I raised it up. We'll start looking at the quick stop and start again, and it got better over here in this area. And then I started playing with it again, and we raised up and back down some. So we do have a few more wrinkles we're trying to edge out here, but let's get this pulled up and see how well it adhered across those layer lines. And so this is the way it printed. We've got these kind of waves here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this over and let's see what the back looks like. Okay. Once again, we can see those waves there, right? And kind of hard to, let me see if I can't get that patterning in there. Right, we're seeing the waves. Now, We're really stuck together over here, which is a sign that we're too low. We raised it up some here in the middle. I still can't peel it apart. That's a good layer bond there, but I still think that we are too low then, which is still causing us a problem. So let me see where we're at. Let me jump back up there. We're going to go ahead and save this, save that config. And then we'll start to run this print again and look to see if we can dial in that first layer just a little bit more. Hey, Sumeric, how's it going? We have now pushed our first plastic, and as you can see from here, we're still getting, first print, we're getting some ripples in here, and we've got really good layer adhesion, which tells me that the ripples, right, really good layer adhesion. This is one layer thick, which tells me that these ripples are from us being too close. So we raised it back up some, and we're gonna start the print, and we're gonna be able to hopefully slowly raise it up a little bit more rather than the mass panic that I had on the first round when I realized I was gonna say digging in. We didn't actually dig into the bed, but we were way closer than we needed to be. And I am printing directly on this bed. It's a heated carbon fiber bed. And this is PLA. Now I wouldn't want to do I don't think I want to do like carbon fiber material or like PC CF or nylon or anything directly on the carbon fiber. I don't know. So I will have to put some Kapton tape or the PEI bed sheet on this eventually. Right now, I'm just making sure that I get good print. Not good print, but I'm breaking it in. I need to break in the motion system and make sure that the belts are moving good and all of that. So right now we're starting off with just a 120 by 120 layer height, so 0.4 square. I just take a cube primitive and OrcaSlicer and scale it to those dimensions, and that is my first print, and that's just to get a good first layer. Once I get a good first layer height doing that method, then I'll go into extrusion flow. So we'll do the flow rate, we'll do the pressure advance test, and just run through all the standard Orca tests to start dialing it in. This is doing the first layer perimeters at 70. And I want to say the Polymaker blue that I'm using right now is actually Yeah, this is the Polysonic PLA Pro, which is their high speed anyhow. Which is made to go between 100 and 300 millimeters a second. So that's kind of perfect for this. And this is looking really good so far. Once again, we're going to let it do the first layer. And then when it goes to start the second layer, which it'll start to ramp up speed real fast, which is always kind of cool to see. We'll go ahead and we'll stop it. And I'll try and pull the layer lines apart. If the layer lines aren't pulling apart and I don't see any ripples on the print right now, so that's pretty nice. Bring it in here and see if you can see what I'm talking about. See, there's no ripples going through that print. So as long as I don't see any big ripples start, I'll let it start the second layer, and then I'll stop it and I'll try and pull these layers apart. If the layers are good, then we found our first layer, or our Z offset. And then we'll go in and we'll start doing like the extrusion multiplier and all that good stuff. I don't know if anybody else gets. I don't know why. Like on the bamboos, I don't pull these off. But on everything else, I like pull these off in the middle of the print for whatever reason. While this is printing, I also want to say I've been printing out. I think I showed everybody the Christmas tree one last stream. To go with the Christmas trees, I'm also doing some Santas. And once again, these could be like wall hangers, door hangers. You can set them on a, on a rest, like a plate rest or whatever, to display. I'm going to send these over to some people, and I think they're going to like these to put on display. Try and get some Christmas cheer going. And then I've also got I don't know if anybody knows what one of these are. Teslas might have an idea. But this was printed out on my Bamboo Dragoon 1. It prints out on this surface, so I want you to see the surface finish on that. There you go, Mr. Wizik. Yep, it's the K2 rugged storage. And believe it or not, this color here is Filament 1 Premium. It's their PLA Pro Select. I want to say it's iron gray. And I was printing it on my new CryoGlacier Pro build plate. Took me a minute or two to get the plate dialed in, but this is the closest thing that I've seen to like the engineering plate as far as the texture and everything goes. once you get the temp dialed in, because you can lower the temps a bit. That's PLA, and I was printing it at 55. 55C on the plate, and it worked out really well. I was saying, here was a couple of things that I just recently printed. And this is, once again, Filament 1, PLA Pro. An old roll, also. Oh, it speeds up. I wanted to tell you, this is the daily, like, standard speed profile. It's now cooking at 250 millimeters a second. And like I said, I am going to stop this. Because I don't want to go too far. I want to try and pull these layer lines apart. And if I can pull it apart, then I need to drop it down ever so slightly. If I can't pull it apart, I think we're good. And then here's the other thing I was printing, Liz. And these are, you know, decent size. Hey, K2, how's it going? So glad you like this. Yeah, and I know that you like a good gray. So once again, I want to say this is the iron gray. And I may have to get some more of this filament because I want to do, these are the 3x5s. I want to do the 4x6s. But yeah, these are looking really good so far. Okay. So we're going to look at the back first. And there's a little bit of rippling back up here. Ever so slightly. You can see that rippling in the bottom. This carbon fiber is coming out like glass. It's really nice. The layer lines look really good overall. Top and bottom. Like I said, this is the back right corner, and we're seeing a little bit of ridging right here. A little bit right here. But the real test is, can I go corner to corner and split those layer lines? And I cannot. I am feeling a little bit of raising there. You can still see, if I can get the light to go right, you can still see a little bit of how it raises here at the edge. Now we haven't tuned in pressure advance yet. So I'm going to hold on to this. We're going to do our extrusion multiplier, and we're going to do our pressure advance. We'll come back and print this the same way and see if the edges get a little bit nicer and if this remaining stuff kind of goes away after we do those couple of tests. So I already have the first pressure advance, or not pressure advance, flow rate test set up. So I'm just going to go ahead and print this job. And yeah, K2, I really like it, and I like the dark gray look. So I want to keep with the dark gray look, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do the drawers in or not, or what color I'm going to do the drawers, but I kind of like the dark gray, light gray look. Warming the cockles of your heart. Yep, I'm here for you. That's what I do. You hope to release a monster XXXL organizer? Okay. Well, that'll be interesting. Yeah, so what we're printing in right here, this is Polymaker Polysonic Blue PLA. So it's made for high-speed printing. And once again, I want to say this is the daily profile speed-wise. This is not the speed profile. After we get this dialed in a bit, we may kick it up and do like a speed benchy off of the speed profile. Hey, the Reverend, how are you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. You know, while I'm here, I just thought of something. I need to ping Chris. Chris is in K Breezy or K2 Chris. Because I got a shipment in, but it does not appear to be my entire order. Because I got 2 boxes with yeah, I'll say I got 2 boxes, I got 2 printers in, but I didn't get all of the like Molex. Sorry, I didn't get it. There was something loud that just went by the house. I didn't get any of the Molex fittings. So I don't know if he may have opened up one of the boxes and put the Molex stuff inside the box, which wouldn't make sense. But I didn't get anything else other than the printer boxes. So I need to figure that out. And then I'll try not to dox myself. This box came in, which is another tube hot end full setup. So I now have the parts to do the tube upgrade of the, well, I'm going to do CNC all-wheel drive 9mm belt for my 350 Trident with a takeoff tool head and a tube. And then this tube is going to go into the Annex Engineering K3 over here and use those metal plates that Poity gave me at Murph. And that one may come first just because it's there, it's smaller, and I got to start doing some of those streams as well and get some of these upgrades done and out of the way. Oh. Sit down here. I do not know why. So yesterday it was like 22 degrees when I got up and went into work and had to like scrape all the windows and stuff on the truck and all that good stuff. And my foot didn't bother me really yesterday. Today, my foot's complaining, and it's like it was 44 degrees. So I don't know why it was complaining more when it was warmer than colder, but unless it's complaining about me being on my foot most of yesterday. So And for those of you that don't know, this is the initial flow rate test. So while this is going, I will flip over to this screen. You still see this down in the bottom right. This was me doing the base cube here. And what I'm going to do is I will come up here to File, say New Project. Current project's not saved. Do you want to save it? No. Okay. So once again, we're running the daily profile. So its speeds are things like 70 for the first layer, 100 on the infill, 250 travel speed, 400 on the outer wall, right? These are the speeds for the standard everyday run-of-the-mill speeds, right? This is the profile we're tuning in with the Polymaker Polysonic filament. I want to make that clear. I may not be able to run these speeds with standard Polymaker. I don't know. It may not. But what we're going to do, or what we're doing right now, is with this profile, as far as a print speed and the LHS PLA standard, which this once again is 230 and 60 on the bed. Currently is set with a 0.95 flow rate and 0.018 pressure advance. Okay. So all I did was I came up here under calibration and we grabbed flow rate pass 1. There's also a YOLO down here. I have no idea what that one does. I haven't looked at it. This sets up your standard. It does a tile of 9, and it's like 0, -5, -10, -15, -20%, and then +5, +10, +15, +20%. And when this gets done, we'll look at which one we think has the better top surface finish. We'll grab that one. We'll run pass 2, which does a 10. Which does a set of 10 tiles, and it's 0 through -1 through -9. So basically, it's starting at the one you said was best and does the next 9, down 1% each time. And so that helps you dial in your extrusion multiplier. Then we'll also do pressure advance. See if we can't tune that in if we need to. Hey, Steve Builds, how's it going? Steve Builds from Manchester. I hope you are having a good time out in Manchester, Steve. I would love to be going. Maybe next year. Maybe I can get myself a sponsorship to go out there next year. That would be great. Love to be out there and see it. But we are doing initial prints on the LH Stinger. And I want to reiterate, this is the 0.2 daily profile. This is not the speed profile. This is the daily driver profile for this printer. I got fat nuggets. Oh, well, yeah, Steve, go get some sleep. Go get some sleep. This box that you see back here, This is the electronics box. We're running the X and Y motors at 48 volts. We've got dual Y motors, front and back. Single X motor, but it can be set up as a dual X as well for an all-wheel drive type setup. Dual Z motors, they're belted Zs. Standard 50-15 cooling fans on either side. And then we've got 9733 blower fans in the back for additional skirt cooling. Hey there, Petty Ruxpin. So yeah, this shouldn't take that long at all to run this first pass. And once again, this is Polymaker PLA Polysonic PLA in blue. So this is their high speed. It's designed to print at 100 to 300 millimeters a second. I have a feeling I'm going to have to start investing in more of this and things like the E-Packs that are designed for high-speed printing. I'm going to be looking for a lot of pictures and stuff from everybody out at Smurf. That's going to be what? Is it just the weekend, Steve? Oh, and mind you, I still don't have the extra ducting in place. Yeah. So I put the heat sets in to enable me to screw this into the bottom of the belt carriage. The problem is with the way the slope is and there's no access holes from the bottom, the only way you can get to these is to take the tool head off completely. And the way you take the tool head off completely to get to the 4 screws that are mounting it to the carriage is to take the tool head apart. So I'm going to see if I need to put that on or not. If I run into issues, then I'll do that, but I'm not going to do that on stream because that'll be a sad day. Yeah, so I'm curious. I want to talk to Delmar and a couple of other people. I'm in the LH Stinger Discord now. I need to go out there and just check and like see if everybody's just still printing on the directly on the carbon fiber bed like I'm doing here. If they've installed the PEI sheet or if they're just going with Kapton tape or how they're doing their prints. And I also know that I don't have a lot of this filament left. So when we go to do our, I'll say our next or a print of some sort, I'll probably grab a spool of my Epax filament and just run that. Um, and then have to tune in a profile for that, and I'll do that off stream because once again, this will be a short stream. I have a hard stop at 6:30. $6:45-ish. And by the way, this is moving this entire desk. And the bottom of this desk has probably close to 100 rolls of filament open on it. So there is some decent weight along with it being on this. And it is shaking this entire workbench. So a couple of other things, like I said, I got in the printers from KB3D that I ordered. I got in, I need to ask him about all the Molex parts. I got in the second tube from Luke's lab that we're going to put in the Annex Engineering K3 thanks to Poity. And tomorrow, fingers crossed, because they're still telling me it's coming tomorrow, I get my Rat Rig Mill beta kit. First, it'll show up when I am out at my holiday party event, and Mrs. Dragon will get mad at me because they're going to want to sit it outside, and she'll go to try and pull it in, and they're going to be heavy. So they may have to just sit outside and wait for me to get home. Tube is totally fitting to Annex K3. It does. I actually have a metal mounting plate for it, thanks to Poity. So I can't not mount a tube to it when, you know, he gives me the parts to do it. Oh, hey, Mini Vice, welcome in. Yeah, it's printing. I still think I'm going to need to work on input shaping down the road, but yeah, it's definitely printing. And once again, I want to tell you, this is the daily, like the daily speed run, or not speed run. This is the daily driver 0.2 profile that comes with the printer. Yeah, and quite honestly, to tell you the truth, I will be very shocked if, like, I'm going to be watching it, but I'm going to be very shocked if it shows up tomorrow, because normally what happens, because this is the third thing that I've gotten from Rat Rig, and this has nothing to do with Rat Rig. DHL picks up, in this case, 4 boxes. It shows 2 getting on the truck to get here and 2 being in another city. The 2 that were supposedly put on the truck to be delivered will not be delivered. The next day, all 4 are on the truck and they get delivered. So that's why I'm like, fingers crossed. If it happens, it's great. I mean, the Rat Rig happened that way. The stand for the Rat Rig, that was a cluster. What is the flow? The current flow, it's spiking to 17, like high 17. I mean, it does show like 20, 30 for periods of time, but it's spiking around 17, 18. The 20, 30 spikes, I'm not even going to count that. And this really isn't a good test for flow because we're trying to do the extrusion multiplier here. They call it a flow rate, but it's extrusion multiplier. We could try and do a flow test. That is one of the things that we can do here. And I'll bring you guys in closer to this. Probably go back to the full screen. Right, and we want to look at surface quality. Now this is the 0 one. And you'll see as we come down here to -15, these lines are getting way far apart. This is the 0. Even -5, the lines are getting stretched apart. This is +5 here. +10. Might be easier if once I can pop these off, to pop them off and show them. I'm definitely saying that the -20 and stuff is going to be, all the negatives are going to be not enough. And quite honestly, get some better lighting here. Um, Zero's looking good. Like it may need to be just like one less, but so there is, oh darn it, if I can get my light going. Once again, -5 looks like it's starting to separate out. As far as the layer lines there go. And then 0, the lines are pretty darn good. 5, we start getting a little bit extra. You can see that corner getting a bulge. So I think we're going to leave it where it's at. And we'll work on just going in and actually, you know what? We're gonna do this for no other reason than I'm time constrained today, and why the heck not? So once again, this is the LH Stinger Daily. The speeds are like 70 for the first layer, 100 for first layer infill, 250 for travel, 400 on outer wall, 400 for inner wall. And this is the daily driver 0.2 profile. You also have detail strength. There's a PET G profile, a quiet profile, solid, speed, strength, and TPU. The strength one slows things down. Probably add some more layers and more infill. Let's look at speed. 600 for most everything, 300 on the top surface, 30,000 excels. Yeah. 2 walls, 5 top, 4 bottom, 15%. rectilinear. And you guys know where I'm going with this, right? Handy models, Benchy. Yeah, I'm fairly rural, but in fact, I believe that they are now going to be bringing. Well, they have fiber in my neighborhood now, and I think I just got the message that says they're ready to come out and make connections. So I got to call the lady that was talking to me because I don't want to go through the residential people because I just started a business and they're going to waive all or setup fees with the business. So I'm like, yes, please. Hey, print and play Kaylee's Way or Keeler's Way. How's it going? Yeah, I'll hold on to these. Like I said, we're going to need to do a little bit more testing, but why the hey not? We're going to just fire this sucker up and let it go. Making some supper, good. Oh yeah, yeah. Before I moved out here, I had 10 gigabit symmetric fiber for less than a year, and then we moved out to this house, and I still cry every once in a while about not having fiber. So I think I can go with 400. So right now I'm on a 100 meg plan. I think I can start out with Spectrum at 400 and can go up to a gig. And I'm probably just going to do gig straight off because, well, it's going to be a business write-off. Um, so what acceleration did input shaper indicate? Um, 30,000 on X and 20,000 on Y. And I'm just, you know, we'll slice this plate. We're on the Stinger speed profile. We're going to slice this and uh 40-minute benchy. We could probably get it faster than that, but hey, what the hell? Let's see what it looks like. Let's see what it looks like. Yep, warming back up. And this polyimide heater, this is the same type of, I mean, a polyimide heater is the same thing that LDO Motors uses on their V0 beds. Heats up nicely and it's really even on the heat, so that's good. And hey, Hila, I jumped into your stream yesterday and then I realized it was just Jeremy playing around with things. So, Liz, if you're going to say you're making supper, you got to tell us what supper is. Like, what are you making for food? Well, like I said, they brought fiber out here. So I have no cable. There's no cable provider in the local area, so I have no like thick neck cable. The only thing I had running to my house was a copper phone line, and we wound up having Windstream, Connected by Windstream installed, and that was the only game we had in town, the only service we had, other than going for a satellite, and I didn't want to do satellite. Ooh, a chicken wrap with cucumber. That sounds good. Um, and we saw that they were digging fiber, and we knew I knew it was fiber. I know what trenching fiber looks like. Uh, Being in the military comm for a while, and so I knew what was being trenched. We were just waiting for them to say, okay, we're ready to connect, and it looks like they're ready to connect because I've already had like the business Spectrum business people come out and talk to me and Mrs. Dragon. And then I had a door hanger yesterday. So I think I just need to call her up and be like, hey, because it was funny. She called, or when she was here, she was like, well, we'll call and see if you're still interested when we're ready to start doing installs. And I was like, just call and let me know when you're coming. Like, I'm interested. I'm getting it. The question is when can you install it? And quite honestly, I flat out told her, I was like, show me the box, bring me the fiber, and me and my buddy will connect it because he did fiber connections in the Air Force. Like we'll terminate it. That ain't no problem. Kind of laughed and said, no, we can't do that. But yeah, Evil Diesel was a tech controller in the Air Force, so he ran fiber a lot, terminating by hand. You know, yeah, they so the one of the boxes is this way between me and my neighbor. So they'll run it from that box and they'll loop it around up to the side of my house. And there'll be one crew that will connect the fiber, and then another crew will come and dig the ditch and bury it. Why they do that instead of doing it all at the same time, I don't know. But it's obviously it's two different crews, two different types of skilled labor, I'll say. Um, Let me see if I can do this. So here's that flow rate we want to look at. It probably will not get to a really big flow rate just because this is a small model, right? You're not going to see the big flow rate unless I do the flow test and try and do a max flow test. But this does have a Dragon Ultra High Flow hot end in it. So but yeah, I'm looking forward to getting fiber here. And then I also just upgraded my MacBook. So I went from a 15-inch 2019 Intel based MacBook with 16 gig of RAM and 512 hard drive. My new one's a 14-inch MacBook. And I did that on purpose because I tend to bring this to shows with me and stuff. So it's a 14-inch MacBook with the M4, was it the M4 Max? Yeah, the M4 Max processor at the highest one, which the full number of cores that you can get in the M4 Max, 64 gig of memory, and a 1 terabyte SSD drive. Adding the additional SSD drives, they're too expensive on a Mac. It's just easier to plug in an external one. Or do like a like a NAS and offload it to the NAS. Yeah, the Apple tax. But like I said, the other one was a 2019 model, and it was on the old Intel chipsets. So this is my first M series processor, back to Apple Silicon, and so far it's doing really good. I like it. Yeah, this is a pretty steady and low flow rate. Like if I did like a 2 or 300% Benchy, I'd be able to get a lot better speed and flow rate. This is just too small of a file to really see the work on it, or not the work on it, but the speed on this. But you know what this, you know what this screams? We're going to have to do an annex turbo snail on this. Because this is the one, this is the one off the K3. So doing this, yeah, I want to do this on this printer now. After just thinking, hey, let's do a turbo snail on it. But yeah, I really like, and the other reason I went with the smaller screen, it's gonna take me a little bit to get used to the keyboard because the keyboard's just a little bit more cramped, it feels like. But I plug it into a 34-inch ultra wide monitor anyhow, so I don't need the laptop screen real estate all the time. It looks like we're working our way through an ad. Okay, so this front Y motor is pretty darn hot. The back one's cool. Ooh, the X is pretty hot as well. So the X and the front Y are pretty hot. I am running this on the speed. I'm running it with the steppers fast config, which I think is pushing like 1.8 for the current to these motors. These are they're designed for it, right? But they are a bit toasty. I'm gonna have to put some cool, and it's weird because the rear Y, not a problem. It's X, Y. Yeah, these are a bit toasty. Yeah, they can run hot. What's your next project or an upcoming one? Well, interesting you should ask. So we've got another tube that just arrived that is, and I've got the metal parts thanks to Poity to put a tube on the K3. I've got the Cyborg CNC all-wheel drive 9mm belt kit for the Trident 350 downstairs. And we're going to put the takeoff tool head with a tube on that one. And then I've got upgrades for the Bamboo Labs printers behind me to do. But as far as machine build, the next machine build that I'm going to have on deck will be the whoops. And well, I've got the rat rig mill to build, but I'm not sure if I'm allowed to. I'll have to reach out to them and see if I'm allowed to stream that build or not. I'm still waiting on shipment notification for the IDEX. I've already ordered the IDEX for the rat rig. So I'm waiting for that to come in. But I think right now it's going to be doing some upgrades to existing printers. I need to assemble, I've got a blaster, like a Star Wars blaster, and an armor set that I need to continue the assembly process on. At some point, I will have a Baby Belt Pro. That's another thing that, so we worked out amicable arrangement for this printer between me and Hector. The Baby Belt Pro, I'm supposed to get one of the kits that comes in to build on stream. So, yeah. I will tell you that I put an SVO8 in my cart like 4 times during the Black Friday sales, and I kept pulling it out. So there's a part of me that wants to do it, but there's another part of me that goes, where would I put it, and why do I need it? I've got plenty of well, it's a 350 size printer, so a little bit bigger than the other ones, but I think the next big printer I need to do is going to be a 500 or 600 size printer, because I've got at least one project already lined up to use it. Keyless Way, sorry, you were listening but couldn't type. Fiber will be amazing. Oh yeah, yeah. We're as soon as I can get that installed, I'm going to be a happy person. Yes. So it's going to be one of two things. It's going to be wow. It's going to be a Rat Rig 500. So this is a 300 size. So Rat Rig 500 is even bigger. Or I may wind up going 600, and if I do 600, it would most likely be like a stable bot from Luke's Lab. But oh yeah, we're pushing plastic. And it wouldn't be a V24. It's not going to be a Phoenix. I know somebody did show me a link for the, and I don't think I have it out here. I think Bisec has a big printer now. Darn it, like, yeah, the Bisec Venture XL. So it's weird that it looks like this. You see this over here? For whatever reason, they get compressed down here. But this looks like first batch of 50 will have their own serial number and a surprise gift pack, so they're pre-order only. They'll be shipped at the end of January. You'll probably get them in February. It's $2,000. 600 cube build volume, high efficiency zone heated bed, fast printing, 40/40 high strength profile, CNC metal structure, powerful custom motors, 7-inch optically bonded capacitive touch display. Okay. New electronic package with a Spider Pro 2.0 cartographer, SB combo V2, independent pre-installed aluminum alloy external electric control box with Nevermore. Yeah. It's a big 2.4. And when they say independent zones, looking at this, this is a good view here. So you see one mount peg, one here, and one here. So most likely you're running 4 300 size beds with a monolithic PEI sheet. So you got to make sure that you mount all 4 of those beds, like using a big sheet like this quartz as a reference surface to get all 4 of them dead flat to one another. Otherwise, think Orange Storm Giga. Yeah, that would be for a printer this size, and it looks like it's got like rolling casters on it. It would make sense to have this mounted at the top versus the bottom. There's your enclosure on the side panel versus the back. You've got the Stealth Max there, spool coming in from the side. The Stealth burner. So this is a flying gantry 2.4 in a 600 size using 4040 aluminum. And if this is 4040, why does this still look like 2020? Like you would want at least 3030 on a 600. Otherwise, you're going to get all kinds of warp on these on the gantry if you're only doing 2020. Like this either needs to be steel, but if this is 2020 aluminum, you're going to get this. You're going to get a lot of twist and warp in that gantry. And the fact that it's pre-order just kind of screams to me that you're beta testing it. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. No, this is just an upscaled 2.4 using 4040 extrusions for the main frame. But once again, looking just visually at the size of this, and then in the size of this gantry looks to me like it's still 2020. I mean, it looks nice. Price looks right for the size. But yeah, if I'm going to do that, if I'm going to do a 600 by 600 because of what I want to print on it and the material I want to use, I'm probably just going to do a stable bot. Let me put this down to normal. There we go. So we're doing good. We're starting up on the Benchy side, or the cockpit of the Benchy. So we'll be able to get this done. Yeah, you can put a lot of box turtle lanes. Like you could probably actually not probably, but on a printer that size, you could run 2 side-by-side box turtles. But you'd have to find out a good way of mounting and stacking them. Because you wouldn't want all that weight sitting on. I don't know if I want all that weight even sitting on a 4040 frame. Because you're talking at that point, that's what, 8 spools plus the weight of the box turtle itself. 8 spools at 2.2 each. Math in public. Yeah, not working out well. you know, close around 20 pounds or more at the top of that printer. Don't know if that's the best way. At that point, I think I would just mount, you know, stack them on the side. But the goal for something like that is not to do massive multicolor prints. No. The goal of that printer is to do some large size, think Ivan Miranda crazy stuff. Yeah, I would be surprised if they don't either, as Nick Nick. And I would hate this, or I was going to say, I'd hate to see what the price is. The price is going to be right. And I'm not sure. So I think they'll release the design. I don't think there's going to be kits. Most people will not build a printer that size for their house. Right? That's going to be a foray for a prosumer small business, you know, building things like kind of what I want to do. Yeah, like you can get all the stuff from LDO, but I don't think there's going to be a kit. There may be a I could see like a bomb in a box electronics kit being made available from like KB3D, West 3D, Fabrico, you know, the Triad. But I don't, it's going to be more of like one-off things. We're not going to see mass consumption like, you know, the number of 2.4 Trident kits that are out there. I just don't think that's going to happen. I may be wrong and pleasantly surprised. You never know, but I just don't think that's going to happen. Hey, what? That's skirt cooling. It definitely works well. Um, but yeah, we're doing good. Hopefully, we can get this done here in the next couple of minutes. Um, if not, yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how best to do this because I do have a class that starts at 7. I can I can go to 6:50, but after that, I'm gonna have to definitely jump off and try and get ready for that class. This says it's at 56%. We can always pull a Hector and just like start ratcheting up the speed, but I don't necessarily want to do that because I want to try and, I mean, first roll print off this. But see, that was the issue that Delmar was having is like, you get Hector come in and do something like this. In the middle of a print. Like I just went to 300%. And then it like freaks out, wigs out, and crashes. These are small enough movements, but these motors are going to get really hot now. These might be the first motors where I have to put like some passive or active cooling on the motors. And it's weird that it's only one of the Y motors. So I, oh, they're 48 volts. The X and Y motors on this printer are 48 volts. The dual Z and the extruder motor are 24 volts. And then because once again, we're running a Polysonic PLA at 230, our primary cooling at the tool head is 5015 fans with a pair of 9733 skirt blower fans. Um, yeah, like I said, the X, which is a single, is pretty hot. The front Y is pretty hot. The the rear is ice cold. So in fact, I'm gonna, yeah, it's definitely moving. And yeah, that I don't know why they would be different, like running at different temperatures. Like these two are definitely cooking, so I'm going to drop it back down to 100%. I don't need to kill off any motors here. I may have to see about getting some like LDO superpowers. I think I know a guy. Did you do the sinking belt process? Yes. Did I do it right? I think. I think. I mean, the VZ does synchronized or all-wheel drive, and I've got those synced. I tried very much to get these synced, and I have unbelted and rebelted it numerous times. So yeah, it's definitely a significant temperature diff. But once again, the Y belt, which is by itself, that Y motor is pretty cooking, just like this front. Um, excuse me, the X motor, which is a single motor, is pretty hot, just like this one is. It's this Y rear that's ice cold. Yeah, even the Z motor is hotter than the rear Y motor. All right, so we're getting close to done here. It's got to do the stack soon. And I'm curious to see how well it cools on the stack. And the stepper drivers themselves are cool. So the 60-20 fans in the electronics box that are blowing directly onto the stepper motors, the 5160s, those heat sinks are really nice and cool on those. So that is doing good at cooling it. And when you say doing it with the machine hot, do you mean like heating the bed up, or do you mean like, hey, we just did a print, the motors are nice and warmed up now, let's go through and do the sync procedure? Okay, that's stuff I can do. That's no big deal. I can do that off stream though. Um, we'll be back to printing with this on Saturday. So we I would think about trying, because I know that today is going to be a short stream. I would normally say like, hey, let me stream Wednesday or Friday. Well, I had a meeting at 6 yesterday, and tomorrow I've got an appointment with Evil Diesel and Little Goober to do an event at 5:30. So I'm going to be driving into downtown Raleigh to do a team event. Get out of there at 4, haul butt back here, and meet them at 5:30, and do D&D until like 9:30. So it'll be a Saturday morning stream. We'll do some more printing. Maybe we'll play around with the sync procedure. But I will tell you that this very much looks like a Benchy. And that smokestack is coming out really nice as well. Of course, it's slowed way down. We're doing 10 millimeters a second because it's a small part. But it is definitely working well. I am checking to see who is online right now, because I will be bouncing out early to head over to that class that starts at 7-ish. Oh yeah, holiday crazy is kicking in. That is definitely true, Sumer. It's been a crazy, stupid week because once again, we had 2 weeks ago we had VPs in town. Last week we had the holiday, which was a short week. This week we've got the senior VPs in town, which just means a whole nother level of stupid. And then the next 2 weeks, we go on our annual shutdown starting the 23rd. So yeah, we'll have 2 weeks of getting any real work done before we're done pretty much through the end of January. Because we'll come back from our annual shutdown, we'll have 1 week before we go into an end of quarter freeze, for where we can't make any changes to the network or the infrastructure and stuff because of quarter end reporting requirements for finance. So it's like we've got 2 weeks worth of work that we can get stuff done. and then everybody's pretty much gone. And then we come back and we have 1 week sprint to try and get any other work done. And that's the reason I hate this quarter. But yeah. Come on and finish up. Yeah, it's going to be nice to have some time. Now, I will say we went out, we had, yeah, there was drinks and food last night. I don't drink anymore, but yeah, they had a nice spread out last night, so that was a nice thing. And tomorrow is our smaller team event, and it's like from 12 to 4:30. So this whole week was pretty much a wash with meetings and extraneous events. But yeah, I don't want to really pull this off immediately, even if I can. We need to let that plate cool down a little bit. But I will say, for a 38-minute, 59-second Benchy, according to the print timer, that looks darn good. I'll bring it up to the camera once it cools down a little bit and I can pick it up. But the bow looks really, really good. We got a little bit of fuzz, a little bit of stringing fuzz like right there at the door. But that could just be that this filament has been sitting out like open air for months. So that this little wisp right here is just because the filament's been sitting out. No bad bow cooling there. I will say that this is probably the nicest Benchy that I have printed as a first print. So, with that said, I do have to go. I've got 5 minutes to kind of reset myself. Oh. Yeah. So we've got that whole line. Once again, that's just where they go in from infill to solid layers for the bottom of the boat. You can see there might be some layer stacking issues. Or not issues, but just inconsistencies. But I can't get the, there we go. This looks really nice. I think we've got our first layer dialed in pretty darn good. Yeah, this is probably one of the best Benchies that I've done, especially at this speed and with pretty much zero tuning, right? Because we started to do Extrusion Multiplier and we said, zero looks good enough. And boom, off we went. So we're going to go ahead. Ow, yeah, that X motor is still pretty hot. So yeah, I'm wondering if this motor isn't just freewheeling and this is doing all the work. So it may be that this motor is not functioning. So I'll check that. But I'm going to go ahead and say let's raid on over to Free Heathen. I know he's up and running right now. And like I said, I do need to jump out of here real fast. So I apologize for being a short stream. We will be back here on Saturday morning, Manly Mutt. And hey, Rob C, Quantum Assembler, welcome on in. I will be printing on this again Saturday. Maybe we'll work. I've got to figure out this rear Y motor, but I do need to jump off here because this is a free training class that I'm getting for this being a disabled vet. And, you know, I need to, I need to be mindful of that and get the best thing that or, you know, get the most out of this training that's being made available to me. So thank you guys for being here. Yes, I just uploaded a couple of VODs. I think there's one or two more, like this week's VODs I haven't put over to YouTube, but I will. So thank you all very much. And yeah, take advantage of it for sure. Definitely Akila's way. I will see you guys around the interwebs, and I will definitely see you guys back here Saturday morning for another long stream. And with that, let me get, we're rating out now. Thanks, everybody. Bye.